Hello, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the SR210 Lane Edition and Baseline Interchange Project Informational Webinar. My name is Madison Viola, and I'm with the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, supporting outreach efforts for this project. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, just to allow folks to sign in and get situated, so please stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We're just going to give everyone about a minute more to sign in and get situated, and then we'll start our presentation. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for your patience and thank you for being here. My name is Madison Viola, and I'm part of the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority's outreach team. You are joining our webinar for the SR210 Lane Edition and Baseline Interchange project. A couple of items we'd like to explain before we get underway with the presentation. Today we will be discussing the upcoming series of 6 directional 55-hour freeway closures coming to the SR210 in Highland and Redlands later this month. Our webinar will be recorded and posted on our website at go.sbcta.com/SR210 baseline for those who cannot join us live this evening. As part of the webinar feature, your microphone is automatically muted and your cameras are automatically disabled. We will be using the Q&A function to answer your questions. Our team will provide written responses in real time, and at the conclusion of the presentation, we will highlight and respond to key themes and topics from those questions. And finally, this is an informational meeting to educate you about this project. We believe that all positions, positive or negative, related to SBCTA activities should have a voice in the process. However, we expect that this will be done in a respectful manner. SBCTA reserves the right to monitor, filter, and remove content or participants that our team deems inappropriate. At this time, we will provide instructions for anyone interested in hearing today's presentation in Spanish using Zoom's interpretation feature. Once the instructions are given, we will enable interpretation and then begin our presentation. Diana, will you please provide the following interpretation instructions?
Yes, of course, thank you. Para accesar al servicio de interpretación en Zoom. Por computadora, haga clic en el icono de interpretación en las opciones de reunión. Seleccione Spanish en el menú desplegable. Por teléfono móvil, en los controles de su reunión, toque el icono de más. Toque la opción de interpretación de idiomas. Seleccione Spanish y haga clic en finalizar. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Cynthia, will you go ahead and turn on our interpretation feature? All right, one final item of housekeeping. For those of you who may not be familiar with Zoom's platform, the Q&A box to ask questions at the conclusion of the presentation can be found at the bottom of your screen. Simply click on where it says Q&A and a pop-up will appear on your screen where you can type in your question. We will respond to questions using this feature and address overall topics and themes at the end of our presentation. You may still see the chat feature button at the bottom of the screen. However, chats will only be directed to our panelists and utilized to receive more information for questions that require further research. If you're joining us using the call-in option, please email your questions to info@gosbcta.com. Let's go ahead and get started. If you've traveled along State Route 210 before, you've experienced the traffic bottleneck between Highland Avenue and San Bernardino Avenue. The freeway here drops from 3 lanes in each direction to 2 lanes in each direction, causing cars to slow down and increasing congestion for commuters. The SR 210 lane addition and baseline interchange project will widen the freeway by adding a mixed flow lane in each direction between Sterling Avenue and San Bernardino Avenue, add a merging lane between Baseline and 5th Street Green Spot Road, eliminating traffic backup on the freeway, add an acceleration and a deceleration lanes at Highland Avenue and 5th Street Green Spot Road, and perform pavement rehabilitation from 5th Street Green Spot Road to Lagonia Avenue. Construction on the 210 lane addition and baseline interchange project started in February 2020 and is anticipated to be complete this summer. Originally separate projects, the SR 210 lane addition and baseline interchange projects aligned geographically and shared similar delivery schedules. They were combined to save costs and expedite these schedules. And in addition, pavement rehabilitation work was added through a cooperative agreement with Caltrans. Together, the combined projects will improve traffic operations along the 210 corridor and the baseline interchange and improve pavement quality along the 210. Overall, the entire project is about 90% complete, but I wanted to note that drivers will notice the new 3-lane configuration on both sides of the freeway and the corridor before we reach that 100% completion mark. You can see here that the baseline interchange work is 98% complete, and crews are 95% through construction on the 9 bridge widenings between Sterling Avenue and San Bernardino Avenue. The upcoming series of 6 directional 55-hour freeway closures mark the final stretch of this 3-year improvement project. Our team anticipates that major construction will conclude shortly after the series of weekend closures, with the entire project scheduled to be complete by July of this year. And we'd also like to take this moment to extend our gratitude to the communities, drivers, and our city partners in the corridor for their support and patience during construction. With that, let's get to the reason of our presentation today, these 55-hour directional freeway closures. So starting the last weekend of February, crews will begin a series of 6 directional 55-hour freeway closures on 210 in the cities of Highland and Redlands. The closures will take place during weekends from Fridays at 10 p.m. to the following Monday at 5 a.m. These closures will be taken one direction at a time over select weekends and will allow crews to safely perform paving operations on eastbound and westbound 210 at the on and off ramp junctures of San Bernardino Avenue. The closures are scheduled to take place on the following weekends from Friday at 10 p.m. to Monday at 5 a.m. And I'm going to go ahead and read them off for those of you who are calling into the webinar tonight. We will start with 3 westbound closures. The first one will be a week from tomorrow, Friday, February 24th, from Monday to Monday, February 27th, The next one will be Friday, March 3rd through Monday, March 6th. And the final westbound closure will be from Friday, March 10th through Monday, March 13th. And following the westbound closures, we will have 3 eastbound closures starting on Friday, March 24th through Monday, March 27th. The second one will be Friday, April 14th through Monday, April 17th. And the final eastbound closure and closure for these 6 weekends is going to be on Friday, April 21st through Monday, April 24th. Please note that due to the dynamic nature of construction, these dates could be subject to change. Excuse me. As I mentioned on the previous slide, the first 3 closures will take place on westbound SR 210 from the I-10 connectors to the 5th Street Green Spot Road. During these closures, motorists on the I-10 will not be able to access westbound SR 210 and will be directed to exit I-10 at Alabama Street to access SR 210 at the 5th Street and Green Spot Road on-ramp. Drivers will also be able to access San Bernardino Avenue using this detour. Following the westbound closures, 3 closures on eastbound 210 will take place. Eastbound 210 will be closed from 5th Street Green Spot Road to the I-10 connectors, and during these closures, motorists traveling on eastbound 210 will not have access to San Bernardino Avenue or the I-10 connectors. Drivers will be directed to exit at 5th Street Green Spot Road and continue down Alabama Avenue to access San Bernardino Avenue and the eastbound and westbound I-10. SBCTA understands the local and regional impacts of this work and is working closely with Caltrans, San Bernardino County, and our city partners to advertise these closures to the public to lessen impacts to drivers. During these 6 weekends, we encourage drivers to find alternate routes and avoid the area during the closures. And if you do need to travel through the area, please allow extra time to reach your destinations, and note that in addition to the local detours in the previous sides, regional detours will also include the I-10 and I-215. And we wanted to share a friendly reminder that all businesses in the project corridor are opened during construction and during these closures. All right, we are in the home stretch of this presentation. I want to go ahead and take a moment to go over our public outreach for this project and these closures, and the ways that you can stay connected and informed. Our project website, which can be seen in this computer down at the lower left, is packed with information about the closure schedule and suggested detours. It's a great resource to find more information about the SR 210 lane addition and baseline interchange project, as well as to sign up to be part of our project database. As you can see in this upper left corner, we currently send out weekly text alerts that include our weekly construction schedule. You can sign up for these by texting SR 210 baseline, all one word, to 888-525-1021. We're going to move on to social media. SBCTA is very active on social media, where we post project and closure information. We encourage you to follow at GoSBCTA on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you're always in the know while traveling throughout San Bernardino County. And if you live or work near the closure area, you should be receiving the notification on the right-hand side tomorrow that outlines the closure schedule and lists detour information on the back. And perhaps our most helpful informational resources are our weekly construction alerts here on the left and our project Google map on the right. On the left, you can see an example of our weekly construction alert sent out on Friday afternoons with the upcoming week's closure and detour information, so you're prepared for the week ahead. These are packed with valuable information about all of the construction activities on this project and are your go-to resource for updates about the 55-hour closure. You can sign up to receive these on the project website at gosbcta.com/SR210 baseline. And finally, on the right, you can see an example of our project Google map. And as I mentioned earlier, construction is dynamic and schedules may change, but all real-time closures and detours can be found on the project's Google map, on the project website, and by clicking the map at the top of our weekly construction alerts. You can access it on a computer or mobile device, and it will give you the most up-to-date information on closures and detours. We post our normal weekly closures on this map, and as you can see here in the bottom corner, I'm not sure if I can get my mouse over it, I apologize. We do have a section about the 55-hour closures already posted. You simply click on one of the icons and information about the closure, the schedule, and the suggested detours will pop up. And while we send out our weekly construction alerts with the upcoming week's closures and detours, we are able to update this map in real time should we get updates from the field, such as a schedule change or an emergency closure. And we encourage you to bookmark it so that you're always in the know while traveling through the project corridor. That concludes our presentation. We will now invite your questions to our team. And as a reminder, the Q&A box can be found at the bottom of your screen. Simply click on where it says Q&A and a pop-up will appear on your screen where you can type in your question. You may still see the chat feature at the bottom of the screen, but again, chats will only be directed to panelists and utilized to receive more information for questions that require further research. And if you're joining us from a landline or using the call-in option, please email your questions to info@gosbcta.com. And with that, I will turn it over to our attendees to ask their questions. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and check out these questions right now. If you just give me a minute to filter through, I'll share our first one and get some answers for you. Let's see, our first question is a good one. Can you ensure that there will be no construction on the alternate routes during the closures? Alabama and Palm and Fifth Street are also under construction right now, and it's not a viable alternate route. I'm going to go ahead and bring Gary Tomasetti from our project team up to help me answer this question. But I would like to just preface that with we have been working very closely with the City of Highland and Redlands, coordinating with all of the projects that are under construction in the corridor right now. And maybe Gary, you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Sure, yes. So we are aware that the intersection of Palm and Fifth Street are under construction for a project for the City of Highland. We have been coordinating with the city. They've assured us that their contractor is not going to be working over the weekends. We are aware that there are lane closures there currently, but as the way that Alabama is being a single lane going through the Santa Ana River area, all the cars would already be queued up in a single lane. So we don't think that's going to be a big impact on the detour route being that way. So another thing that we are doing just for general interest is working with all the different agencies along the detour route to give as much green time through the traffic signals along the entire detour route between Fifth Street and I-10.
Great. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. We have another question asking us to repeat the text message alert information. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. Let's see. For those weekly alerts, you can sign up by texting SR, the number 210, and baseline to 888-525-1021. And maybe Cynthia, you can go ahead and put that information in the chat for all of the attendees tonight for those who wish to sign up. Thank you. It looks like those are our two questions for now. We'd like to, give it a few more minutes. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to type those into the Q&A box. Again, we do appreciate your time and your questions and your feedback this evening. So we'll go ahead and just give it a few minutes if folks have any other questions regarding these upcoming closures or the SR 210 lane addition and baseline interchange project as a whole. Thank you. We have another question as a follow-up to that first question about the Alabama detour from Miss McCain. And she is voicing her concerns about using that detour route. It looks like she lives in the area and is the only route she can take home. A lot of other citizens are concerned about this. Is there any way the city can open both lanes at night? Nicole, do you want to drop your information into the chat box so we can follow up a little bit more with you about that coordination with the city? Gary, I don't know if you have anything more to add, but it might be a question that requires a little bit more research on our end.
So I can speak to that project staff because we have been coordinating with them. We have talked about the option of being able to open some of their lanes. I don't believe we can on Fifth Street, but since the last time I went through there, they may have performed more work now, so maybe it's possible that we can. I think it's important to remember once people turn onto Fifth Street, they need to queue up in a single lane anyways to get onto the on-ramp at Fifth Street back onto the 210.
Great, thank you, Gary. And yeah, Nicole, if you can go ahead and just provide your email or phone number that we can follow up with you on, we can go ahead and get a little bit more information from that. Oh, I see that you put it right here. Thank you. We have another question. This is what type and how much work will be required to the project area after each of these closures are complete? And, we were anticipating this question and glad that you asked it. We'd be happy to provide more information on that. I'm going to kick it over to Gary again.
So after each of these closures, and these closures are scheduled for essentially the next 2 months, there will still be some other contract work still ongoing. So they're finishing in the median some guardrail. They've been placing concrete for some drainage swales. There is still some paving to do on some asphalt shoulders, which will likely happen after all these 55-hour weekend closures. There's also some freeway on and off ramps that we need to repave. The issue that we're facing right now is because we're in such a cold snap, the temperatures are too cold at night to do any asphalt paving at nighttime. So it's likely that that paving work is not going to happen until it gets warmer. It could possibly be in May timeframe. If it's warm enough in April and we can fit it into the schedule, then we'll do it as soon as possible.
Thanks,
And
Gary.
then one last thing, there will still be punch list work, which is all the minor items. Once we do a full walkthrough of the whole project, little things that have been missed throughout the project length, or any repairs that need to be made by the contractor, those will be performed sporadically day and night as well.
Great. Thank you, Gary. And that was a great question. Thank you, Bruce. It doesn't look like we have any other questions at this time. Again, we'll give it just a couple more minutes. We do have some extra time here. I know it might take a minute to type those in and get them submitted to us. But again, we appreciate your time this evening and your patience as we work to complete this project. And as just as a reminder, this meeting was recorded and this will be posted on our website probably tomorrow and also sent out in our weekly construction alert tomorrow for folks who could not join us tonight, just so you have that resource and this information at your fingertips. Oh, we have a question regarding how will the closures affect casino traffic and will there be signage for alternate casino routes? Gary, do you want to go ahead and take that one?
Yeah, so I mean, currently we're not anticipating major impact to the casino. We won't have specific casino detour routing because they're much further west of the work zone. But we have been coordinating with the casino staff, so they're aware of it. And I believe, Madison, you can probably expand on the different types of advertisement that's been done to explain more to get that information out. But to be specific about the detour and signage, there's no specific casino signage for the detour.
Thanks, Gary. And I can definitely elaborate on that. And I do want to ensure you that the casino is aware of these closures. They have been a tremendous partner throughout this whole project. They sit in on our weekly construction meetings. We communicate with them regularly. They know about these closures. We've sent them information for them to use to their customers, alerting folks of these closures. We are also kind of outside of the casino. We are using radio advertisements. We've sent a press release to print, online, and also radio stations to get that information out there. So on your drive, you might hear a little blurb about the 210 being closed in the next couple weekends. We have been working closely with major stakeholders in the project area, like the casino, our city partners, even folks as far north as the mountain communities, the San Bernardino Airport, to share this information and also give them resources that they can use with their constituents so that they can post on social media or share our post about it. They can, put an update on their website. We're working regionally with the county. There will be CMS signs, which are those digital overhead signs that Caltrans uses and updates up throughout the county in advance of each of the closures, alerting drivers to find alternate routes, or that, the 210 will be closed at 5th Street Green Spot Road. And we're hoping that by getting these messages out early, it'll lessen the impacts. We won't know for sure until the closures happen, but if we get this as widespread as we can with meetings like this, with information that we're sharing with our partners, hopefully people will find other routes and it will lessen the impacts to that detour route, to the communities that live and work in the area. And again, if you belong to a neighborhood group on your local Facebook page or next door, please share this information with them. Share the project website at gosbcta.com/SR210 baseline, because just the more information we can get out there, potentially the less impacts there will be during these closures. I hope that answered your question, probably a little bit more than you needed, but we just wanted to share that information with you. So it looks like we don't have any further questions right now. I feel like a little bit of a broken record, but we're just going to give everybody one last chance if you do have any questions. And if you think of something later and want to reach out to us, we have, let's see, let me get back to the presentation mode. You can always reach our team at info@gosbcta.com. We have a 24-hour helpline at 877-55-SBCTA. Our team likes to respond to questions and inquiries within 24 hours, so we are more than happy to share additional information if it pops into your head after this meeting. And it looks like we don't have any other questions at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude this presentation. Thank you again, everyone, for your time this evening and for your questions and feedback. Our team really appreciates it. And please, again, share this information with your neighbors, with your community groups online. If you work in the area, let your coworkers know. And, hopefully we'll lessen these impacts. And, we appreciate you helping us get the word out. Have a great evening, everyone.